up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me once again. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave today. So here we have a real bougie lunch, snack, date night situation. I was pretending that I was in Spain, so I made a bunch of small plates, some cute tapas, and a little charcuterie board. Now, of course, if there's something you want to see, you can certainly skip along, but as always, it's easy. I'm hungry, so let's get into it. So the first dish we're going to start with is the prosciutto wrapped asparagus. It is pretty simple, but it does take a little bit more time because we obviously have to oven roast the asparagus. So when you're cutting your asparagus, pop off an end to see if it is where it's most tender, and then use that as an indication of where you should cut the rest of the asparagus in the batch. Easy peasy. Once your asparagus is all cut, go ahead and get a cookie sheet and line that with some foil. Yes, foil, because I don't like all the cleanup. Coat these asparagus with some olive oil, some salt and pepper, and cook uncovered in the oven on 375 for about 10 to 12 minutes. Once your asparagus is about halfway cooked, 10 to 12 minutes, like I said, uncovered, they should look like this. I mean, these are already good enough to eat in my book, but you know, we gotta add that schwine, just a little bit of that schwine. So we're just gonna take a couple of pieces of asparagus, and I'm just going to wrap this with the prosciutto. Now, my prosciutto I had it sitting on the counter for a little bit, so it is definitely a little softer, a little more difficult to manipulate. As you can see, I am, struggling a little bit right here, but as you do it a few more times, it's a lot easier, I can assure you. Just so you know, this is what the prosciutto should look like. So it'll come individually shaved on like individual sheets, and prosciutto is Spanish ham. I really like it. It's perfect for charcuteries. I love wrapping it too in like pear. Oh my God, in the summertime in the pear. So just wrap these and pop these back in the oven. I did add some fresh pepper and a little bit of garlic powder once I wrapped these, and I popped these in the oven uncovered again for an additional 7 minutes. So while the asparagus is doing what it does in the oven, we're gonna move on to the stuffed mushrooms. So here I have some baby portobellos. I have already gone ahead and cleaned them. So for the portobellos, please wipe them off with a damp paper towel. Don't run them directly up under the water. They tend to be a little tougher when you do that. And I'm just popping out the stems. This is really easy. Just be gentle because some of them are a little more firm than others, okay? Next up, I have my cookie sheet, once again lined with some foil. I'm just putting down a little bit of olive oil so that the mushrooms don't stick once they finish. So you can use butter, or you can certainly use a cooking spray. Once I have all of my mushrooms down, I'm going to add just a little bit of olive oil. Be smarter than I was. I tried to drip olive oil on these things. If you have like a brush and a little bowl for olive oil, just use that instead. To that, I'm going to add just some salt, some pepper, some chili powder, and then we're going to stuff these, of course. So off camera, I went ahead and chopped up some jalapeños and some red onions. You can omit the jalapeños. In my opinion, they were not spicy. You can do this with green peppers and yellow onions. Do you, boo-boo? It's just a little extra vegetable, you know, just to add some vegetables into our diet since we all are drinking a lot of wine. So I'm just popping these in, and I'm going to top these babies with some mozzarella and Parmesan cheese. These are literally that easy. So when you pop these in the oven, pop them in the oven with the asparagus at 375 for about 10 minutes. You'll see that the cheese is already starting to melt down a little bit. Go back in once those 10 minutes are up and add a little bit more cheese, and these are done. It's really that easy. So now it's time for our steak crostini. So off camera, because I'm trying to keep this simplified, I've gone ahead and marinated my steak. So I just added some salt, some pepper, some garlic powder, some onion powder, and some adobo. And I let my steak get up to room temperature. Please always let your meat get up to room temperature. And I'm just going to sear this and press this in the pan. Now in the pan, I have a little bit of olive oil as well as some butter. While that is doing what it does, and the crack of my hand is ashy as it is, it makes no sense. I'm gonna go ahead and toast up some crostini bread. You can just pop these into the oven again, let these toast up for about 10 minutes, or you can omit this step completely and purchase the pre-cut ones from the grocery store. As my steak is finishing, I'm gonna go ahead and do the cheese topping. Yes, cheese topping. So here I have some fresh parsley. I know many of us use dried parsley all the time, but it actually starts as a fresh herb. What? You can actually buy this in the store. I know y'all didn't know because y'all sprinkle parsley on everything. Looking like ants on a plate. Anyway, just kidding. Just kidding. So I have some freshly chopped parsley, and I'm going to add to that some mascarpone cheese. So sometimes you'll see mascarpone in like a lot of desserts. It's a very soft cheese, similar to, I don't know, I'm showing you the ingredients, similar to like a brie. If you like a soft brie, you would definitely like a mascarpone cheese. It's a little bit sweeter than a brie to me. Of course, down below, I will leave the full description and measurements of everything, but this is 2 large spoonfuls to me. To that, we're going to add in some olive oil. I'm using about a teaspoon of that, and a fresh lemon. A trick with lemons to get your juices flowing is to roll them. You can even pop them in the microwave for maybe 10 seconds, and that really gets the juices going. Give this a good mix, and then we're going to add into this a little drizzle of honey. I would say about a tablespoon of honey as well. And when you're all done, everything is mixed, your mascarpone cream topping should look like this. Now that my crostini pieces are out of the oven, nice and toasted, my steak is out of the pan. It is coming up to a nice resting room temperature. We're gonna go ahead and top these with that cheese mixture that we just made. I've gone ahead and sliced my steak into my desired thickness. I would say about a 1/4 inch thick. I'm gonna just slice it relatively thin, and I'm just gonna pop these directly onto this mixture. I probably should have cut these pieces in half, but I just ripped them. You know, by this time, we are on meal number 3, and your girl is hungry. So halfway through doing these, I realized that my type A personality was clearly coming through. So I started to organize the crostinis by their flavor profile. Yes, as you can see, I'm arranging these for a purpose. And the purpose is, to half of those, I added some spicy mustard. I just wanted to add something additional just to give it a different flavor. You certainly don't have to add that in at all. And once these bad boys are all done, I am just drizzling some delicious honey right on top. And I just kept them in the oven on warm for about 2 minutes while I finished up the last dish. And without further ado, the recipe that you all have been waiting for, I obviously saved the best, or at least my most favorite, because all of it was good, for last. So I have some scallops here. I'm using whole scallops, not base scallops. I want to use the whole scallops, okay? I pop that piece off. Sometimes that can get icky or it can be a little chewy. It's just like the little, you'll see when you have a scallop. It's like the little membrane piece on the side. Scallops produce a lot of juice or a lot of liquid, so I want to go ahead and pat them nice and dry before adding them into the pan. Into my pan, I have on medium-high heat. I have just in there like 2 tablespoons of butter. I have not seasoned my scallops whatsoever. So to this, I'm just going to add some salt, pepper, and a little bit of garlic powder. My scallops are officially halfway through. I've just cooked them on each side for about 2 minutes. I just got these stainless steel pans, y'all. I don't know if I like them yet. I think I'm supposed to season them so things don't stick. But as you can see, I was struggling. Now, once the scallops have cooked for about 2 to 3 minutes on each side, we're gonna remove them from the heat. And to that same pan, I've chopped up some jalapeños and some red onions. I've just diced them up. We're gonna add those on in. Now, you can certainly omit the jalapeños if you don't want the little kick and add green peppers, or you can just do it with onions. I promise you it's going to be just as delicious. So what I'm doing now is getting up all of those delicious bits and pieces from that sweet juice that the scallops let off. So if you're a big scallop lover like I am, you know they have this like really sweet, milky, almost like ocean taste. So I just want to make sure I get all of that delicious flavor into this sauce. I cooked these peppers and onions for about 5 to 6 minutes or so until they got a little softer. And to that, I'm going to add in the corn. Now, be better than me because I did not drain the liquid off the corn. So do choose to drain your liquid. I did not. But if you did not, like I didn't, go ahead and just turn that heat up and cook all that liquid out there before we add the next ingredient. So once your corn and peppers have sauteed just a bit and got all that extra liquid out, I would say it's probably been about 10 minutes since I have had my corn in here sauteing. We're gonna go ahead and add in some whipping cream. Now I'm using just regular whipping cream because unfortunately heavy whipping cream was not available at the time, but choose heavy whipping cream, or like I did, use whipping cream and just toss in, you know, just a little tablespoon of butter, unsalted, of course. We're almost done, I promise, I promise. So to this sauce, I'm just going to add in a pinch of cheese. Do not add just a pinch of cheese. Use as much cheese as you'd like because I don't know why I used a pinch. I ended up going back like twice and adding additional cheese in here. And some fresh black pepper. Notice I'm not adding any additional salt, any additional garlic powder. There's so much flavor already in this pan, and the cheese is actually going to bring just enough of the saltiness that we need. Now, what I did not do on camera is go ahead and make some grits, just some quick instant grits, some salt, some pepper, some butter, and because that is exactly what this delicious scallop and corn succotash is gonna lay on top of. Are y'all still with me? I hope y'all are still with me because we are officially done. Look how everything came together. You can like show out for your friends, show out for bae, do a nice little wine pairing with this, lay back and enjoy. I hope you all enjoy these recipes as much as I enjoy putting them together. And until next time, thank you so much for cooking with me, Sierra P.